So all the best, Sanya. This is your final show. Can we go ahead with the first painting that you would like to explain?
Yeah.
Tell me about this.
The first painting is inspired by Picasso's Blue Period, especially the painting titled La Vie, that is French for the life. It is a well-known fact that in Picasso's Blue Period, most of the paintings were made because of his depression over the death of his friend, and it's basically called Blue Period because the color scheme of his paintings used to be blue and dark tints in the paintings. So there's not as such a bright blue scene in his paintings, but I've exaggerated a little bit to bring out the influence of Picasso in this. Also, I've used a knife for the painting, so it's a knife painting, and it's titled La Vie, that is also French for the emptiness. What inspired me for this particular picture was that it was in my room. It was when you take out a painting, there's a mark left by the painting on the wall. The square is that mark that the painting leaves behind, and when you look at the mark left behind, you think about the painting that would have been there. So this is something that I thought was similar to Picasso's themes in his painting.
Okay, so you enjoyed doing this painting?
Yes.
So what about this painting? This is again a new technique I think you've used. It's totally different from the knife painting that you did.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites. It's inspired by Jackson Pollock.
Good.
And it's based on his own his own unique technique of painting. None of his paintings use easel or anything. He puts the canvas on the floor and he completes his work on the floor. So this is inspired by Jackson Pollock, and before I decided the background, I came up with the foreground with the maze and all. It was something that I realized while scribbling in my notebook, that even the lines and scribbles or doodles that we make in notebooks actually make sense. And when you look at those doodles, you seem to find something out of it. So out of that out of those chaotic lines and those scribbles, you can find meanings and figures in those words and those drawings. So the foreground was something that I realized from the scribbles in my notebook, and I thought I'll highlight it a little bit about how a person feels lost sometimes. And the background was something I wanted it to be a little chaotic, similar to the theme of the painting. So I researched a lot of artists who experimented with color and different mediums different color palettes for that matter. And I researched Marcus Rothko and Willem de Kooning, Barnett Newman and Jackson Pollock. So I came across one of Jackson Pollock's painting. It's titled Number 5, and it was very similar to this, but in the sense he uses oil paint, so his lines are more defined and his forms are more defined rather than
the dripping paint.
Yeah, exactly. So I experimented a lot before I actually did it on the background. So this is one of the experiments that I did before I did the actual painting. It's not a very pretty picture, but it was just something I wanted to experiment with the color scheme, what colors I wanted to use in the background. Now, since my background could be white or black, I wanted to keep something simple, keep it simple. So I wanted it either black or white. But for the paints to come out and in the chaotic forms to come out more, I decided on keeping the background black, so the paints would be seen more clearly. So this is what I did.
This painting was done from the photograph that you had taken, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the replica of Hawa Mahal, but it's not the actual Hawa Mahal in Rajasthan. It's the one they built in Ramoji Film City. And this is a painting I did before I actually got into abstract. because I didn't have a definite direction up until then. And so it was a new city for me, Hyderabad, so I moved around places. I saw Ramoji Film City, and this is one of the photos that I found very interesting because of its geometry and the dome shape of the Hawa Mahal. And I thought it was something that I would like to experiment, since I wasn't really into painting that much when I got into the program. So this is something that I've tried to replicate as much as I can, with adding a lot of shade in the background and the details in the dome. So what interested me the most in this painting was the geometry of the stairs. And the detailing that can be seen in the domes, the walls and the inner walls. So basically, the architecture of the Hawa Mahal was that fascinated me. And what also interested me is the history that followed Hawa Mahal. It was originally built in 1779 by King Savai Pratap Singh. So it was basically built for the royal ladies to have a view of the street, since they weren't allowed to go in public actually. And it was made in pink stone with white limestone lines. So it was very beautiful in actuality. And this is just the top part of the whole Hawa Mahal. It's a 5-story building, and it shows a lot of tradition and the culture of our country, where women weren't allowed to come in public before the public.
Earlier.
Yeah, earlier. And it was the tradition of parda that they used to call. And the culture behind it and the history and the architecture of the Hawa Mahal itself was what fascinated me to paint it.
This is a tribute you've titled.
Yeah.
Could you explain about this?
It was, I came up with the outline for this painting about a week before the 9/11, with the date before 11th September, a week before 11th September. And I thought it'd be something I would like to give a tribute to both sides that were, hurt in the 9/11, the hijack. And this painting also has a lot of historical significance, because right after the 9/11 attacks, the Guantanamo Bay, it was a detention center by the US, and there was a lot of controversy about them holding innocent people that weren't really related to the 9/11 attacks. So it was for both the sides that were hurt because of this 9/11 attack that happened. And I wanted to give a tribute to all those people that died that day and thereafter because of the incident. And this is
What is the technique you used here?
This is it's a dripping technique, but I haven't used the dripping technique per se, because I painted the drips rather than just letting it go, because I wanted it to be more thick. That couldn't be done with a brush. So I painted the drips, and I kept the background yellow because I wanted the red to be, again, the foreground to be more seen more clearly. So, and the last addition that I did, the foreground of the painting, was the eyes. It was something that I had been practicing for a while, and for eyes, facial features and everything. So I had been practicing it for a while, and I wanted to incorporate it in the painting. And rather than the whole face, I wanted to be just eyes, because I feel they were more expressive rather than the whole face. And it gives a certain it gives a certain universality to the whole painting rather than giving the whole face.
Okay, use charcoal for the
the eyes are made with charcoal, and the background is with acrylic on canvas.
So you've done a lot of sketches in eyes, okay? With eyes, and I mean a lot of pencil sketches. You have done a lot in your workbook also.
Yeah, I was interested in pencil sketching a lot, but I thought I'll delve more deeper into facial features and human figure rather than just practicing what I was quite good at. So I started with human faces and eyes. So before I could actually draw the whole face, I thought I'd try out the separate parts of the face differently and practice it differently. So I I sketched eyes differently in different angles, and noses in different shapes and angles. And then after I had a basic idea of how you sketch according to the light and according to shape, I thought I'll incorporate it into the whole portraits. So I picked out random friends to make portraits, and my school installed a huge mirror in my room where I could make self-portraits. And so this is some of the attempt at self-portraits. And this is basically what helped me further in the paintings, as I told you in the 9/11 tribute and all. This is what was the base for all the paintings.
So this is the depiction of the still life that I had arranged in the class. Yes,
Yes.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, this is something I thought before I got into abstract, I'll explore the realist in sketching and painting before I understand what really abstract is. So I started with object drawing. I started drawing objects that I see every day, like extension boards and staplers, sharpeners, anything that I could see basically. So this was what was installed in the room. So I tried to make as many details as possible in it to actually, so a person who's looking at it could visualize what it could have been. So this is where I started with the object drawing.
This is another object drawing.
Yes.
It was arranged in the class.
Yeah.
Still life.
Yeah. Now the object drawing in realism, that kind of got me thinking that instead of making it exactly like it would have been, it would be fun to rearrange it according to how you want it. Like not exactly. It's not possible that the frame could actually stand like that without help or something. But I thought it would be fun to visualize it that way. And I played around with the colors, and I tried to make bolder strokes with bolder colors in the object drawing. And instead of I tend to get into a lot of details when I make a painting. So I thought it'd be another opportunity to explore the abstract, where you do it spontaneously. You don't plan before you do it, or make an outline of the painting before you do it. So I thought I'd try the spontaneous thing for a little while.
Okay. What is the medium that you use for this?
The medium is soft pastel.
So this is an installation that you did with vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, while I was doing my other research over the course, it was the time for Ganesh Chaturthi in September. So I see even though it's a age-old tradition in our country, and it has a lot of historical significance too. But the thing that bothered me the most was the pollution that happens because of Ganesh Chaturthi, because the idols are mostly made of POP, plaster of Paris, and they don't really dissolve completely in the water, so it harms the aquatic animals. So what I did was that I thought it'd be to take up something unconventional and everyday, something that is in every